Hello, everyone. So, today our topic of discussion is the sources of prejudice. Now, coming to the first source, which is our learning, we know that a lot of our attitudes are learned through many processes around us. Similarly, the prejudiced attitude, which is a negative form of attitude, can also be learned through these processes like association, reward and punishment, modeling, which is observing others, group or cultural norms, even like by means of exposure to information. Because sometimes the exposure to information can actually lead to the learning of prejudiced attitudes. And for that matter, sometimes even our family members can be very much responsible towards the formation of these prejudiced attitudes. Reference groups can be responsible for the same, you know. And our own personal experiences in life can also, in a way, lead to the learning of these prejudiced attitudes. And most importantly, the media that's actually playing a very major role in these days. So, together, all of these are responsible towards the learning of prejudiced attitudes, which is a negative form of attitude, usually a negative form of attitude. Then, of course, this prejudiced attitude can lead to the development of prejudiced personalities. Now, these prejudiced personalities are going to have things like, they probably will not be able to show great adjustments, they will also be battling anxiousness. They probably can show signs of aggression, hostility, especially, towards the outgroup people, and these outgroup people are the opponent groups, usually the members of the opponent group. And the in group is the group to which you belong. So naturally, you're going to have a soft corner for your own group, and rather, you are going to show feelings of aggressiveness, hostility, maybe even undesirable characteristics you probably will exhibit, towards the outgroup members, which are actually the opponent group members. Then coming to the next one, we have strong social identity and the in-group bias. So very clearly, some people have a very strong social identity, and they are known for their very strong personalities, and so they tend to have a very positive attitude towards their own group, and that kind of uh, positive attitude gets a boost because they actually tend to hold very negative attitude towards the other groups, and so these are also prejudices because you are being partial, you're being biased, you're being negative towards the outgroup members, and instead you're being extremely positive and extremely giving, and probably very having a very positive outlook towards your own in-group members, and you are not being that nice or probably positive, rather you're being negative to the outgroup people. So in a way, the entire group actually gets that kind of encouragement. The in-group members, they get that kind of encouragement. So yes, we have people with that kind of strong social identities or very strong personalities, you know so, of course, then moving on to the next one, we have the scapegoating, which is a very important part in the learning of these prejudiced attitudes. Now, scapegoating, if we come to see, is actually when you tend to place blame on a group for something that has gone wrong because the blamed group cannot defend itself. So many a times, there are groups, who actually are facing social, economical, political problems, and that can actually be their own problems. It could be their own problem, but because they realize that, the opponent team or the outgroup members are very weak, or probably they are fewer in number, and they actually will not be able to defend themselves. They really don't have the resources also to, in a way, defend themselves. So they actually start accusing them, and there is no way that these minority groups or these outgroup members can actually defend themselves, against these accusations. So basically, scapegoating is actually a group based way of really taking out their frustrations. and it's always resulting in very negative attitude or prejudice against the weaker group. So this kind of a phenomena, which is the scapegoating, people use these tactics because they want to in a way pull down the weaker groups or the minority groups, and they want to in a way dominate them. So they use these kind of tactics, and they tend to put the entire blame on others. So that is basically scapegoating. And of course, then we have the kernel of truth, which is also another concept. And so basically, it's all about people holding a very stereotype thinking, because they actually feel that there must be something true about this particular matter or event or any talk that's going on. So people have that kind of stereotype because they always feel that there must be some truth in it. That's why probably everybody is saying this, because everyone is saying this, or everyone is talking about this, or this is the hot topic. So there must be something true about it also. So, kernel of truth is basically that small element of truth that may be perceived in overgeneralized clusters of beliefs about groups. So, basically, it's all coming from a very stereotype, typical thinking, and people continue to hold these stereotypes, because they feel that there must be some truth, some element of truth in it. That's why probably everyone is saying yes to it, or everybody's talking about it. So that's what is kernel of truth. And then of course, coming to the last one, which is the self fulfilling prophecy, which actually is another important aspect, which says that you tend to behave in a way that actually confirms the prediction that was made by others. So there can be certain times when the in-group people can kind of accuse you, or they can predict that, oh, look at the other group, the opponent group members, they are so dependent, or they will not be able to do this task. That's not their style. No, they can't do it because they're too dependent on others. They are not independent people. So, they can come up with accusations like that. And sometimes you tend to start behaving in that way, and all the predictions or the accusations made by the other group in you, they actually come true, because you're actually making it very true with your own behavior. So that's exactly what is self fulfilling prophecy. So basically, the group that is the target group, they actually in a way become responsible for continuing the prejudice. you know so the prejudiced attitude or the negative attitude that is being exhibited by the other people on the target group, you know it actually is continued. Why is it being continued? Because you yourself are being responsible for it. You are behaving in that manner. You are giving them the chance to make all these accusations, predictions very true, right? So basically, they start behaving and they actually justify the prejudices. They confirm the negative expectations that are being made by the other groups on them. So, this is basically self fulfilling prophecy, and these were some of the very important sources of prejudice which we tend to feel every now and then in our day to day lives. We also probably could be targeted based on these five prejudices, or maybe we probably could have used any one of these tactics. So this is something which we are sensing, we are going through every now and then in our day to day life. So this was all about the sources of prejudices, and under this we talked about the five important sources. Thank you so much.